Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So I've had lots of questions about this yoga skin, I don't know why I'm doing that. Yoga skin technique. If you don't know or you haven't heard about yoga skin, don't panic. I'm going to tell you. So yoga skin is a technique that was invented by Sara Hill, who is a Scottish makeup artist. I'm not Scottish, by the way, I just did that because she's from the UK. It's close enough. She developed this technique she's been using on Instagram, and it's now been featured in all kinds of publications. It's become very, very popular. It's supposed to be a light, fresh, natural, glowy, healthy looking base. And she published all of the information on how to do this on her Instagram, and I watched the video and I was like, oh, it looks gorgeous. It looks like a bit of me. And lots of you have been asking me about it, whether I've tried it, because as you guys know, I love a dewy base, I love a glow, I love the healthy luminosity. So yes, it does sound like a bit of me. But I have been slightly put off by the fact that it is performed using your hands to apply your base, which is just my worst nightmare. I hate it. I hate getting foundation or makeup on my hands. I just do not like using my hands to apply makeup at all. So for that reason, I haven't given it a go until today. Today is the day. No more procrastinating, no more wimping out. Today, we are giving yoga skin a go. So let's get started. Okay, so I have Sarah's Instagram tutorial just in front of me, and this is amazing because she has not only filmed herself doing it, but she's also listed everything she uses, and she's also written down all the steps. So what more could you want? So Sarah actually mixed everything just in the palm of her hand, but because she's kind of said she recommends like building it up, I don't want to mix it up and then not have enough and have it all go on my face and want more coverage. So I'm going to be mixing it on my palette and then taking what I want in bits, and then I can build it up if I want more coverage. So step one, she says, is cleanse and prep your skin as normal. Let your skincare absorb fully before adding the next step. So I did that before I started filming, and it's had a good 15 minutes or more since I applied like my last step, which is my moisturizer, but everything is all prepped and ready to go. Step two, apply a small amount of primer, silicone-free preferably. So I'm going for my Galon L'Or primer. If you know, I always use this primer if I'm doing something new because it's just very reliable, foolproof primer, and it's not a dewy primer either because I don't want to add anything that's dewy to my skin and then, you know, try this out, because who will know what's happening. So I just wanted to use a standard primer without any extra radiance. Step three, 3 to 4 pumps of your favorite foundation liquid, preferably sheer/medium and water based, no full coverage. So I've chosen to use my Dior Backstage because it is a very watery foundation, and it's also like buildable foundation. So by using less, like in this instance, it will be quite sheer. It's also easy to add more, so I'm just gonna. Step 4 is 1 drop of your favorite skincare facial oil. So I'm just going to be using my Obsession baking priming oil. So it's just like a hydrating oil basically. 1 drop. Well, that is it. Next, step 5, which is a 1 drop of strobe cream or liquid highlighter, and she prefers golden tones. So I'm going to be using my MAC strobe cream. Bloop. Step 6, for super shine, 1 small drop of glow drops, and it says this step is optional, and I'm going to be using my iconic London drops in the shade Original. I'm going to go boop. Okay, so that is the little mixture. There it all is, and I'm gonna mix all of this together just using my finger, because at this point, what's the point in not getting involved? Use whatever you've got to give this a try. Don't be buying new stuff, because who knows if we're gonna like it or not. This is the bit that I've been dreading, because frankly, this is my nightmare. Step 7, massage into your skin using your hands. This does many things. It gets the circulation flowing, relaxes you, depuffs, and makes the base sit better too. Build up in layers on top until you're happy with the coverage created. I would recommend allowing time between layers. Okay, so, God. I'm really not going to worry too much about getting this in my hair. Or I'm going to try not to anyway. Can't promise. I will say it does feel nice. And the oil as well, because it's got that sort of oil kind of smell to it. It does actually feel quite relaxing to do, you know. It's got that sort of spa smell. It's not as bad as I thought it was going to be. I still literally have this extreme urge to go and wash my hands. There we go. So there's the starting point. So it's not as bad. Like, I literally thought I was going to look soaking wet. So at the moment, I'd definitely say we've got a sort of light to medium coverage going on. So I'm going to just build it up a little bit and see how this builds. I am definitely getting a bit more used to the hand situation. And it's not really badly going in my hair, to be fair. Haha, poem. Taking that a little bit down my neck. It is definitely finding it like a little bit, like, because I'm just leaving like hand prints. Yes, it just will take some getting used to, I think, the technique, because I just never ever would normally use my hands. So it's obviously just something that takes a little bit of getting used to. So I have gone right up under my eyes, which I wouldn't usually do, because I just wasn't sure whether I wanted to go in with concealer after. Like, I just wanted to see what I thought. But yeah, I think I still would like a little bit of concealer. But otherwise, I'd say we're at a medium coverage. I think I kind of thought that it was going to be much more sheer because of the products we were adding into the foundation. I thought it was going to really sheer it out. But I don't think it's really taken away from the coverage, to be honest. I think that's pretty much, for the amount of foundation that I've used, it's where the coverage would pretty much usually be. And it's also not, I literally thought this was going to look soaking wet and really oily, which it doesn't. It looks just really nice and glowy and healthy. And obviously we could build up another layer if we wanted. Like, I have still got a bit of redness poking through, but I'm happy with this. So next up it says, step 8, add a small amount of liquid concealer only in the areas you wish more coverage, like under eyes, spots, or around the nose. Please do not overdo this step, is what she says. So I am just going to use a bit of my Clinique Beyond Perfecting concealer, because this is quite a nice, natural, light concealer. I don't want to now go in with like a really heavy full coverage concealer, because that's obviously going to defeat the object. I'm just doing this with my finger because we've started, so we may as well finish. May as well continue. I'm also not using too much of a bright shade like I would normally do. Okay, this is not working for me. I need my sponge. I need my sponge, guys. I've given up. Given up already. I need the sponge. This is not as light of a concealer as that I would usually use on my under eye area, because this whole look is, you know, designed to be very, very natural, skin-like. So I just want to keep it that way. Try and keep a less bright under eye than I would normally have. She then says that you can use some powder lightly to set the concealer. So I'm just going to do that literally right under the eye, and I'm not going to try and take it too far down. This is just my Huda powder, by the way. Jen says add cream bronzer and cream blush if you wish. So I'm just going to go in with a little bit of my Chanel Soleil Tender Chanel. And I'm gonna put that on the butt of my beauty sponge and just lightly bronze the forehead. So I'm just using the beauty sponge to lightly bronze up my face. Then for blush, I'm going to use one of my Daniel Sandler Watercolour blushes, and this is the shade Glow, because it's this kind of bronzy shade, so it's kind of going to give me a bit of a bronzy glow at the same time. So here you go, that's what it looks like. This is also a really glowy, like skin-like product, so it's really going to soak nicely into that foundation. Not that I need any more glow, but you know, if you're gonna do it. This is a gorgeous, glowy formula liquid blush. Really nice to work with. All different shades. I think this is a nice shade for this because it is very natural, very sun-kissed. I think the girl in her video had quite a strong blush, so I kind of want to replicate that sort of flush if I can. These blushes are perfect for this because you can use as much or as little as you want. You can build it up, you can mix shades together, and it's just perfect with this technique to keep it really skin-like. For eyes, all I'm going to do is pop a little bit of Charlotte Tilbury's Eyes to Mesmerise in the shade Jean just on the lid, just keeping everything cream, keeping everything, you know, natural and soft. Sarah didn't actually talk about the eye or lip makeup on her tutorial, but it literally just looks like the absolute minimum has been done. So obviously, again, with this technique and with this type of makeup, you just do whatever you want. If you want to do a full-on smoky eye, obviously you can do that. And again, if you want to make it even glowier, you just add a bit more. If you want it dewier, you add a bit more oil. Like, I feel like everything is very individual, just do whatever you want. Okay, so just to finish off, I've gone in with my Lancome Mascara Big Mascara, my Fenty Gloss Bomb in the shade Fenty Glow, and I've done my brows with my Benefit Goof Proof Brow Pencil, and this is the finished look. What do you guys think? Obviously you can do less blush than me, you can do a different shade blush, you can do no blush, you can do more bronzer or no bronzer, you can kind of tailor it however you want. She does say in her tutorial that probably those with oily skin won't like this technique because it is obviously very glowy, very dewy, but obviously you could set with powder and maybe make it work for you, but generally in my experience most people with oily skin don't prefer a very glowy base because they do want to sort of mattify themselves down because they are naturally nice and glowy. So yeah, this is how it looks. I didn't have any issues. I don't think it's particularly flattering on my forehead lines. Like with anything that's sort of this dewy and glowy, it does tend to find lines and soak in there. So I think this is probably a younger person's friend. So this is what my skin looks like with the lights down low. Everything is really glowy and healthy, but still skin showing through. I really thought it was going to look very wet and shiny, but it doesn't. It just looks really glowy, and obviously you can tailor it. You could put more illuminator in, you could put more oil in if you wanted a wetter look. So it's really up to you what you do with this technique. I didn't have a big issue using my hands. I definitely would prefer to use a brush or a sponge, but it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. So there you have it. That was my go of the yoga skin look. I think it's very flattering on this part of my face, which I didn't think it would be. I thought it would exaggerate every line and all of that stuff, but it doesn't. It looks really nice and smooth and healthy and luminous. My forehead lines, because I'm like, while I'm talking and I'm doing this a lot, the foundation did really soak into my forehead lines and exaggerate that. But I think if you're talking less and moving your face less, that won't be such an issue, and you could always set it. But I definitely feel like this is a very youthful look. It's very fresh, it's very just glowy and healthy and yeah, youthful. But I do think it's not going to necessarily be your friend if you've got lots of lines and wrinkles. You might want to just set with powder or something like that because it is very, very glowy and dewy. The only other issue I kind of see potentially with this technique is that I don't think it's going to be at all transfer friendly. I think it's going to be transferring on everything, because by putting like the oils and the glow products in there, you're kind of stopping your base from setting. So just bear that in mind, that it's probably not going to wear very well, and it's probably going to be coming off on your clothes and anything that your face comes into contact with. So it's probably not going to be one for a wedding, put it that way. So there you have it. I hope you guys found this helpful. I'd love to know if you've given Yoga Skin a try and what your results were and what you thought of the technique. I will link Sarah's website or her Instagram or something down below if you want to read more about her and how she developed the technique and see her do it much better than me. Anyway, I hope to see you in a future video. Take care for now. Bye 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 bye.